All right, so welcome to my mini lesson. Today I'm going to be teaching you something super important. It's called the APE short answer response. So APE just stands for it's an acronym for the steps on how you will be responding via short answer. Short answer just means that it's not really an essay that I'm asking you, but it's an open-ended question, meaning it's not a multiple choice question. It kind of requires you to explain yourself. Okay, there's a very specific way that we will be explaining ourselves in this class, and probably for the rest of your academic experience, okay, in high school at least. So I want to make sure everybody's on the same page on how to do these APE responses so that you get a good grade when you answer questions in my class. So firstly, APE stands for answer, prove, and explain. So there's three things that you need in every response. Answer is or A is supposed to help you remember that you really have to answer the question by first restating the question and then giving your answer, right? In a well thought out answer. So this is your first sentence. When I say restate the question, everyone should know what that means, but you cannot say yes, I think so, or no, I don't think so. In fact, you really shouldn't be using the word I when you respond to things, anyways, right? Because we're in the 10th grade now, and we already know that that's what you think because you're the one writing it. So you just state things as if they are the answer. There is no I think or no or yes, okay? And I'll give you an example of this in a minute. So you restate the question and then you give your answer. That's one sentence. All right, so P stands for prove your answer. And I already gave you your mini lesson on how to incorporate a quote. There was a reason why we did that first. And that's because it is the second part of your short responses. So you need to find a quote that proves your answer, okay, and incorporate that correctly. Most of the time, your proof is going to be one sentence, but sometimes you have a little bit of a longer quote and it might be two sentences, but it should never be more than that. Okay. Oops. Then E means that you spend the rest of your time in your short answer explaining yourself, right? Why are you right? Why do you think this? And then, of course, you need to tie your evidence in. How does your evidence help support your answer? Okay. And normally, this explain part is the longest part in your response. So we're talking about two to, three, four sentences. This is where you show me what you learned and what you know. So that's an APE response. So I just wanted to give you an example of what this would actually look like. Okay. So if I asked you, what is the tone of chapter 1 in Kurt Vonnegut's God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater? Okay. Now, obviously, you've never read this book. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay. You can see the three different colors here. That goes with the three different parts of APE. So it says Kurt Vonnegut begins his novel with a light satirical tone. Okay. You'll notice that I said Kurt Vonnegut begins his novel. That was my way of restating the question, right? Like, what is the tone in the first chapter? Okay. Well, he begins his novel this way. And here's my answer, right? I'm saying that the tone is light and satirical, which is sarcastic or funny. Okay. Then in green, you'll see my quote. And then I underlined this first part to remind you of our how to quote lesson, where you have to intro your quote. Okay. It says, the conflict, oh Lord, it's not even grammatically correct, but my bad. In the setting up of the conflict, Vonnegut describes a foundation saying, okay, and then this is what he actually says in the novel. It was stashed into a foundation in order that tax collectors and other predators not named Rosewater might be prevented from getting their hands on it. Then you'll see my citation, okay, Vonnegut's name, and I found this on page 1. All right, so then everything in red is me explaining why I think this, okay, and why my quote is important. So I said the use of words like stashed and predators are interesting choices when talking about finances and financial foundations. The word stashed is such a sneaky type word, or even a more slang sounding word, so it's very informal in context. The fact that Vonnegut talks about tax collectors and other predators in the same sentence naturally creates a juxtaposition or comparison, which shows the reader that he doesn't really like tax collectors and he's making fun of them in this description. These word choices help to create a very informal and slightly humorous tone. Okay. So you can see that I really did try to explain why this is a good quote for proving that I feel like this is a funny or a light tone. Okay. You'll also notice that I've tried to vary my word choices. I say informal and humorous down here instead of saying light and satirical. Like, I don't want to sit here and repeat myself over and over again. Okay. So I'm just trying to vary my word choice. But this is a good example of the parts that you'll need when you're answering an APE response. Okay. And if you have any questions today while you are doing your activity, make sure that you email me and I will do my best to help you. All right. Have a nice day.